Hello everybody and welcome to the Diablo 4 patch notes for patch 1.1.1. This is a whole patch note list going over everything that was discussed in the campfire chat that was last Friday or Thursday. There's a little bit more in here. There's a lot of bug fixes included that were not mentioned, and there's some extra stuff in here that wasn't mentioned in the campfire chat that we're kind of learning about, or maybe I just missed. Firstly, we do know about a lot of the class balance updates. The main thing they wanted to do is improve effectiveness of sorcerers and barbarians and solve a lot of the issues with sorcerers' late game survivability, and then barbarians early leveling and in-game stuff with some items and some changes to abilities. One thing we found in the campfire chat was that bosses are getting some extra strength and they're also getting 100% drop chance on legendaries when you defeat them. But now we have the percentages of the health increases at certain level thresholds. Here's a big general change that I don't think was on the list of everything. They've made improvements to how damage works on enemies with barriers or players with barriers. So it looks like bonus damage effects can be applied if they have a shield. So it'll go through their shield essentially. So the example shows things like vulnerable are going to go through an active barrier now. So status effects like those. Cheat death will work properly now with active barriers. And this also affects players in PvP, which is pretty big. We knew this, but the cost of skills being refunded and Paragon points have been reduced. But we now have the reduction numbers. Looks like it's a maximum of 40% at level 100, and that will help tremendously with respecking at end game. As we know, we're getting our elixir stack limit 99, additional stash tab, which we can buy with gold. Thankfully, the dungeon leave time is back to 3 seconds from 5 seconds. They explain why here in the developer's note, but I don't know why they made the change. Here we are to our bug fixes list. Some bugs can actually be buffs for certain classes or just in general because now they're actually working properly or they're wasting less of your time. Nightmare Dungeon doesn't work. Say for like the butcher spawning behind a locked door that you can't get through and then you can't end the dungeon. Accessibility fixes are good, just like screen reader support stuff. I heard there's a lot of issues with cooperative play, and it looks like a lot of those bugs are being knocked out slowly. Dungeon fixes. Now these are good because I think some of these dungeons are in the Nightmare Dungeon pool, so a lot of stuff getting stuck. And they fixed it. Here it is at the top here, the Seaside Dungeon. I mean, this is a general. I've had the butcher get stuck before in 2 spots. I don't know if this is the dirt dungeon I was doing or not. This is funny. The issue with the resource burn has been fixed, but that's being taken out of the game. So they fixed something that's being taken out of the game. That's fine. The reset dungeon button looks like it's getting a fix. I've had it not work a couple times, so hopefully that fixes it. And also this one right here, I almost missed it. The Animus carriers, I've had them not drop Animus multiple times doing Nightmare Dungeons, so I hope this fixes that issue. I don't have to reset. Here are some gameplay bug fixes. This is kind of where the buffs come in. They're not really buffs, but they're changes that hopefully will make your character stronger because they're working correctly. Charge fix should be good. I do still want to make a charge barb. I'm currently working on that. Lunging strike, I had this happen. Lunging strike goes to the ground. I've had this happen when I was going through the campaign originally in the game, so glad to see this fixed. Aspect of berserk ripping, this is good. I mean, it needs to work, right? Not too much, just a couple changes on the druid here. So looks like wolves fixes. This is a nerf kinda, right? I haven't played too much of Necromancer, but you can't stack infinite blood orbs, I guess now. A cap at 30. I think this is also an issue on a couple other classes where they now have only allow 1 point to certain passives. That's a much needed change. Shadow clones that taunt players in PvP. They could not be unstoppable. That would have been really fun to try out if I'd known that. Omni Power is getting fixed. It looks like there's 2 Omni Power fixes. Malignant Power fixes. An issue with random teleport location from the Oculus could cause players to get stuck. That seems pretty annoying. Here are some of the general fixes here. Yep, they fixed the issue where horses should properly boost on controller. Paragon rare nodes would not sometimes not provide bonuses. Okay. So hopefully that should increase power if it's not working for somebody. And the rest are some smaller fixes, it looks like. Changes to monsters, the tusk charger. It could just one-shot you when it was dead in the pack, so it was really annoying. I think that is a quest monster. I don't know if I ever did that quest. General bug fixes to quest, that's good. And the urn of bargaining is actually working properly and not making enchant costs more insane than they already are. Wow. And Dark Dance was killing you if you didn't have life? That's a good Malignant Art then. Drop in Battle Pass. Okay, cool. UI changes. There's a ton of UI changes. And lastly, a couple miscellaneous things here. Bloody Liquid Steed will drop from Echo of Lilith. That's about it. We get a lot of bug fixes here in this patch. And all the general changes and buffs and gameplay updates that we got are great. Good improvement to the game. We're on the right path now. Hopefully they stick to it. Thanks everybody for watching this quick check on the class balance updates and general bug fixes for patch 1.1.1. Comes out on August 8th next week, and I'll try to be testing out a bunch of those changes. I'm excited to start my charge bar, going towards that. See you in the next one.